professional and independent wrestling that you've ever heard. And I'm Joe Lane. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts, keep your arms in the vehicle at all times. Let's talk begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enjoy the ride.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Loyal members of the Wrestle Talk family. Welcome to episode 338. 338. You're going to understand why I said that twice, because it's twice as nice to know that we're creeping up on the halfway mark to episode 400. How incredible is it that despite our meager and humble beginnings, we have accomplished something that I think very few professional wrestling podcasts in the world have ever accomplished. Now, one of the things that you guys will probably notice right off the bat is we've seen a little bit of a change in technology on this particular episode, hence my excitement. Guys, we always strive to improve and to get better, more or less, just for you guys. We want you guys to be able to engage with the show and participate. And if you can't participate, we want your consumption of the show to be enjoyable. Something that you can sit back, whether it be video or audio, and enjoy without having to jump through too many hoops, and have too many challenges. So, as you guys can probably tell, there's a little bit of a difference with the sound and the look of the show today. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, because this is an investment that we're making in the show. For whom? For you guys, the members of the Wrestle Talk family. Now, as I speak to you, I also am going to be joined by my whole co-host today, and it is the one and only Hardcore Hoss. So let's give him a proper introduction. JP, you know what to do, baby. Go ahead and hit that music.
Night out and Wrestle Talk podcast. How you guys doing tonight?
Woo-hoo! I am ready for an exciting show. John, not only are we trying to step up our technology game, we also have two tremendous guests this evening, do we not?
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to our two guests today, Paul Goliath and Dean Alexander. Two absolutely great people. Just looking forward to the interviews with them and everything. So it is just going to be an awesome show.
Dude, no doubt about it. And again, guys, for those of you who are watching this, thank you for supporting the Wrestle Talk podcast. Man, I'm telling you what, as we march forth through this year, great news all over the place. We're going to talk about a bunch of that great news coming up here in the High Spot segment. I'm actually working on getting good old Hardcore Hoss to join me on screen via our StreamYard link. So he should be joining me on camera here in just a matter of moments. I'm telling you guys, this is our first time experimenting with this. It's a little nerve-wracking, but also exciting, because we know that once we work through some of these little roadblocks and challenges that we know we're going to have with technology, it's going to be for the best. We want to try to keep up with the Joneses to a certain respect, because we want your guys' visual experience and audio experience, like I said before, to be top of the line and the very best that we can provide you. So while John continues to work on trying to get himself on with me on the stream, and there, and I think there he is, Daddy. Good stuff. All right. There we go. Okay, we had a little bit of an echo there. No worries. So, guys, John is with me. Before I bring him on, though, let me share with you why I'm so excited. The biggest thing that I want to share, even before High Spots, John, and this is something that you didn't even know, we're making big moves all over the place in the FWWC and when it comes to the Wrestle Talk podcast. So a little bit later this week, we've got huge news concerning both. Stay freaking tuned, okay? And the reason that we continue to try to make these strides with the show is because you guys deserve it. You guys have been here. You've supported us for so long. And it's not only the members of the Wrestle Talk family, as you know, John, it's also our wonderful sponsors, right? We're talking about Wrath Bums Engraving. We're talking about Kincaid. We're talking about eSports, Royal Mills Transportation, The Conspiracy Farm. It's me speaking to you, Everything Combat with Jay Hollywood and Pat Milicic. Remember, guys, make sure you're on the lookout for Caged Aggression in Iowa. Just look up our boy Jeffrey Wilson or Pat Milicic, and it's all over their social media. Make sure you tell them that the Wrestle Talk podcast sent you. Also, I got to give a huge shout out to the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, who is a partner of ours, and they actually have a podcast every Friday sponsored by the Wrestle Talk podcast right here at WrestleTalkPodcast.com. And on that note, I'm actually going to bring on Hardcore Hoss. And he's popping his collar. I like it. I'm going with you, bro. I want to pop my collar too now. Dude, I mentioned the FWWC last for a reason. I know we got to get into High Spots. We got to get into today's show. But, bro, you're a member of the FWWC. As a matter of fact, you happen to play a character named Hardcore Hoss, and you're one of the general managers, bro. Can you speak on that very briefly? Because you know we have a huge amount of support from the FWWC.
Yeah, the FWWC is absolutely awesome. We are a family, that loves wrestling. And unfortunately, a lot of us, we can't live out our dream to get in the ring and actually wrestle. So this is as close as we can get. And we absolutely enjoy going in and role-playing, cutting promos against each other. And it's just an absolute awesome time.
Well, it is, dude, and I'll tell you what, man, I would say this, just with the belts that we already have, and, I spend a lot of time watching and supporting and working at the indies, man. I'm telling you, the championships we already have are putting some of the independent promotions I see to shame already, and even some of the programs and promos that I see in the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion are putting some of the stuff that I see put out by wrestlers and independent companies throughout the country. All right. So kudos to Dewan Mills, to you, Hoss, and to Marcus Mayhem for really holding things down over there at the FWWC. More information on the FWWC on our revamped fantasy wrestling tab over at WrestleTalkPodcast.com. All that said, we got a lot of different wrestling topics that we're going to get into tonight, Hoss. We're going to be joined by two guests, one in this hour, one in the following hour. And I think it's only proper that we start talking some pro wrestling, baby. So let's go ahead. Oh, no. Wait a minute. We can't get into High Spots yet. JP, dude, we haven't done what we always do about this time.
I know. I was about to ask you, what were you thinking? Because, you're just totally going right past it.
I think this WrestleMania hat is on too tight. I think it's – go ahead, baby. Let's go ahead and ask everybody to remove their caps. Place their hands over their hearts as we pay homage to the greatest country on God's green earth. And that's America, damn it.
Oh, say, can you see? And the rockets
Red
Uh-oh. I'll make up for it now. Oh, the land of the free.
Tear to my eye every time.
Does that bring a tear to your eye every single time?
Oh yes, I tell you.
Dude, you are the man, JP. The man without question. All right, well, listen, guys, we're going to go ahead and get into all sorts of pro wrestling topics, man. Everything that's happening in the world of pro wrestling, we're going to be discussing it right here, right now on the Wrestle Talk podcast. So, JP, you know what to do, baby. Hit that music, and let's get into tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk podcast High Spots segment.
Mic check, mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. What's up? Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like lamb chops and dog shop. Looking through the screen of a laptop and non-stop like a one of sleep with a flag top. We get hard like kid shots and back drops like a hard class, so I can barely fuck my ass on. We up the scene while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk
Podcast. Now you know.
We about to start the show.
What an awesome song by DJ Money right there, I tell you.
Doesn't he kill it, bro?
I tell you, that is just absolutely awesome. I know that we're in development of a new theme song and everything, and I can't wait to hear that based on that one.
Well, DJ Money is a professional musician who continues to break barriers, man. I was actually looking up some of his stuff. I think one of his songs has over 200,000 streams on SoundCloud. That's unheard of for an independent artist.
It is, and that's just absolutely awesome.
Isn't that crazy, bro? All right, well, Haas, there's a lot going on right now in the world of professional wrestling. I know there's a couple of things that I want to talk about, bro, but I'll go ahead and let you take the lead here, man, because we got about 15 minutes before we have our first featured guest of the evening. So what do you got for us?
Well, just we all know that Fastlane's tonight. What match are you looking forward to the most at Fastlane?
Bro, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, Sasha and that whole women's championship situation has been very interesting to me. I know that plays a little bit more into Mania, but I guess the part that I want to see the most, or the match I want to see the most, is this Daniel Bryan Roman Reigns match. And I think we all kind of assume that Daniel Bryan has little to no chance of spoiling the Edge Roman Reigns match that we all are looking forward to at WrestleMania this year. But I figured there's going to be some sort of twist. I don't know where Edge makes an appearance. If he ends up costing Roman Reigns the match, I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I'm very curious to see how they're going to play into that, bro, because, you really got to think that even though the pay-per-view is called Fastlane, it really should be called Roadblock, because what they're trying to do here is put a serious roadblock between Edge and Roman Reigns, and many people would argue that it kind of protects Edge, because though he's come back and been extremely present, we haven't necessarily seen him wrestle that much, John, and that concerns me because right now, from a physical perspective, I don't think there's anybody peaking and more on point with his in-ring game, physicality, his ability to go a long time during a match than Roman. Bro, Roman could give you an hour match, he could give you a 20-minute match, he can give you a 6-minute match. I have that concern about Edge, not Roman. Does it feel to you like they're protecting Edge a little bit here, bro? Because that's what I keep people murmuring in the background.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, because you haven't seen a whole lot of Edge, and it really is concerning how little you see going in up to WrestleMania. Almost like they are scared that he could get hurt or something.
It feels like they're protecting him quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, dude. See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah, okay. You want to give Edge one last run. People love the nostalgia. We all love it when the legends come back. But dude, the way I look at it is like this, like, man, if he's going to be, people were really pissed off about Goldberg, right? About coming in, cutting a few promos, not really having any matches and main eventing a big 4 pay-per-view. Can you tell me what the difference is between what Edge is doing and what Goldberg is doing? Because I think people are just being hypocrites. They just happen to like Edge more, so they're not being as critical. But as far as I'm concerned, they're doing the exact same thing, bro.
Yeah, I think you're right. They do tend to like Edge a lot more, and I think that's why they're behind Edge the way they are. But they just don't like Goldberg as much as they do Edge. You're right about that.
See, that's the way that I'm looking at it, bro. That's really the way that I'm looking at it, and that's again the reason that I'm so excited about that match, because I know that something's gonna happen. Like, I don't know what twist they're going to throw into it to make it intriguing, because I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that Daniel Bryan is not going to stand in Roman Reigns' way of main eventing WrestleMania. So I appreciate that topic, bro. I'm going to go ahead and bring up one of my own. We won't get into it too much because I know that most of our fan base isn't real big on New Japan Pro Wrestling. But I will announce, for those that don't know, Will Ospreay was the winner of the New Japan Cup. And here's what's really crazy, okay? During the event, the New Japan Cup, okay, about 24, 48 hours ago, there was actually a 7.0 earthquake during the match. That's right. Look it up if you have to. I know you guys are quick with the Google machine, but during the match, there was a 5.0, and during the event, not during a match, there was a 7.0 earthquake that took place during the New Japan Cup. Now, John, you're up in West Virginia / Virginia. I'm down here in the Kansas / Missouri area. Bro, what the hell would you do if you were at a pro wrestling show and an earthquake happened? I mean, would you evacuate? Would you be like, I paid good money for these seats, I'm not going anywhere? What the hell would you do? I can only imagine how freaking insane that would be.
Oh, that would be absolutely crazy. I mean, we don't get hit by earthquakes up here that often at all. So I think in my lifetime, I can only remember maybe 1 or 2, and they were just minor ones. But if one that was to really hit, I don't know what we'd do. You'd poop
your pants. You'd poop your pants, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Probably so.
All right, check this out. I'm going to actually show a quick screen share here, which I think you guys will enjoy. Check this out. I'm going to go ahead and hit it, and this is some fan video of the incident. So check this out. See how the guys are just kind of standing around there? Oh, okay, people are starting to scramble. Cameras are out of control. The lights are shaking. Dude, did you see that, John? Please tell me you saw that.
Oh, I did. I caught part of it. Yes, I did. And it looks like it was crazy.
Dude, absolutely insane is the way that I look at it, man. Can you freaking imagine? You're in the middle of a wrestling show and that kind of crap starts to happen, bro. Like I said, I know I kind of projected it on you, but I think I might be the one that like craps my pants a little bit on that one. But yeah, so congratulations to the New Japan champion, New Japan Cup champion, Will Ospreay. Guys, the whole competition, there was tons of guys on both sides. I think they started with 30 on each side, and they narrowed it down to the final 2. Will Ospreay was the winner, but the story, obviously, overnight coming out of Japan was the freaking crazy earthquake that nobody expected right in the middle of one of the biggest events of the year. Now, the New Japan Cup, for people who don't know, this actually stretches several weeks. There's so many matches that they work through that it's not one of those things that they do like one night, 2 nights. So if you think that WrestleMania coming up is long because it's 2 nights, try the New Japan Cup, which is like 2-3 weeks worth of shows leading up to the final, which just happened, I believe, yesterday. So That's my other high spots topic, Haas. I was wondering if you had anything else for the loyal members of the Wrestle Talk family.
Actually, not right at this minute. I don't.
Okay, well, that's no worries on that. And I appreciate you helping me out with all the technical stuff on the show. Here's one other thing that I think is absolutely worth discussing when it comes to professional wrestling.
For the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Here we go. Okay, there we go. Let's get our boy JP muted there since he's doing a little bit of screening. It looks like we've got our first caller on deck. This is fantastic, guys. I'm excited because, we like to bring you guys a lot of different flavor. A lot of Midwest flavor. John was actually saying something to me, hey, let's do something a little different where we talk to guys from the East Coast or my area. I'm like, bro, we got to start bringing more people to this show because the Midwest is great and everything. But, man, as you guys saw when we did our 50 states across America, the reach that we have on this show is unprecedented. The amount of people that we've interviewed from so many different places is something that I think is somewhat unheard of, okay? So today is no different. We've got a gentleman who's originally from Canada, Paul Goliath, who's going to be joining us here in just a matter of moments. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited because this is his first time on the Wrestle Talk podcast, and our second hour guest, Dean Alexander, is also joining us for the very first time. So the way that I look at it is this is a big night with a lot of firsts. Lots of firsts. So thank you guys for being here and supporting us for episode 338. And I'll tell you what, we're just getting started. I know I say that. I know it's a little cliche and maybe even a little corny, but we are truly just getting started. Now, before we continue and get ready or start getting ready for our interview of the evening, first interview of the evening, there was one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is, again, more good news. The announcement from about a week ago that NWA is back, okay? Guys, it's March 2021. It seems like we're finally starting to move beyond some of that just crazy COVID lockdown nonsense from all of last year. And seeing that NWA is coming back really, truly gives me hope. Now, no shade on WWE or AEW because they kept me entertained throughout most of 2020. But, John, NWA being back, it just does something special for me because before all this happened, before COVID era, the promotion that I would get most excited for every single week was NWA Power. And now these boys are back. NWA back for the attack. A lot of people were talking about this matchup, Nick Aldis versus Aaron Stevens. I mean, dude, Aaron Stevens, a lot of you guys know him as Damian Sandow. That's cool, but trust me, he's as great as he was with the WWE, he was that much better when he was on NWA Power. John, I know you're somewhat of an old school wrestling fan yourself. We just came through and out of Wrestle Madness, the best wrestler of the 80s. You know, we crowned Ric Flair. Pretty obvious to many people, but man, it wasn't as easy as a lot of people would have thought. We really, really struggled with some of the brackets and some of the matchups. But dude, NWA is back. It's again back for the attack. NWA. I got to know how you feel about this, dude, because this means more wrestling. And that means that more wrestling, more stuff to cover, more shows for us to go to, more shows for the fans to support, more merch for us to buy. Dude, I'm fired up about NWA being back. How the hell do you feel about that, John?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, more wrestling, that can be a bad thing, you know? I've never seen more wrestling to be a bad thing.
So, well, and it's not only that, though, bro. You're also talking about a different type of wrestling. I don't know if you got a chance to catch a whole lot of what these guys were doing with Power, John, but it is almost like flashing back to studio wrestling in the 80s. It's got that feeling, bro. Like, it really feels like I can't explain it, man. It feels like what people fell in love with the Rock and Roll Express and with Jim Cornette and you know, with Dusty and that whole crop from the 80s. It just feels like that. And to have something like that still going today is something that should be extremely refreshing and exciting for professional wrestling fans, bro, because let's be honest, I mean, a lot of the professional wrestling out there today, and you'll hear many complain about this, are these high spots fest. And you're not going to get matches, you know, that like the old school fan would enjoy, you know, a little bit more of a brawl type match or what have you. You're not going to get any Trevor Murdoch type stuff on WWE or AEW, really. NWE is the one and only place where you can find this kind of action, dude. So I'm just telling you guys, if you haven't already checked it out, it is available on Fight TV. I believe it aired last night. Yeah, either last night or as we speak. One of these 2 days it was supposed to go down. But I can't wait to actually go back and watch it, John, because that sort of old school feeling, that studio wrestling. And, bro, what belt has more prestige than the NWA World Heavyweight Championship? Even to this day, Nick Aldis may be the most prestigious champion in professional wrestling today. So that's something that I know the fans have absolutely got to be fired up about.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see it. I didn't get to see it last night, but I am excited to see the product as to what they come out with. And it's exciting.
That is good to hear, John. And I'll tell you what, though, I'm ready, bro. I'm ready because I believe we have a featured guest that is on deck or just about on deck, ready to join us. Am I right about that?
Oh, he is ready to go. Why don't you go ahead and introduce him and we'll get him in here.
Could you say that again, John?
I say he is ready to go. Why don't you go ahead and introduce him and we'll get him in here.
All right, brother. I appreciate that. All right, folks. On a huge night of many, many firsts here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, let me tell you guys how excited I am because we love everything that we do here on the show, and we love highlighting talent from, you know, John's up in, you know, the Northeast, I'm in the Midwest. But as I mentioned before, we had a chance to take, you know, a tour across America over the last couple of months, ending late last year. And we didn't want that to be the end of us reaching out beyond our regions to bring people on who we feel you guys will enjoy. So it is both an honor and a pleasure, my friends, to welcome in first-time guest hailing from the beautiful country of Canada, Quebec to be specific. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestle Talk podcast for the very first time, the one and only Paul Goliath. John, we're going to go ahead and get Paul on. What's up, man?
Paul Goliath, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to have you. We look forward to a great interview here with you. You know, we've really been looking forward to this.
Well, thank you very much. I'm glad to be a part of it, guys.
Well, John, with your permission, man, I'd like to go ahead and lead this off. Paul, it's Renee Martinez, the Night Owl here. Thanks again for making time for us, man.
Can you hear Renee, Paul?
No, I can't hear him.
Renee, we can't hear you on the Blog Talk platform.
All right, hold on a second. Let me. All right, boys, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that, gentlemen. Again, a night of first. We're working through our technology. Paul, thank you for understanding, and also thank you
You're
for
on again, Renee.
man.
I think he's trying to call back.
All right, gang, working on the technology.
You have to excuse us. This is the first time we're actually trying to stream double, both using StreamYard and Blog Talk Radio, which Blog Talk is our normal platform. We're trying to expand it to StreamYard. So this is our first time trying with that. So,
all right, I think I'm back. JP, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes. Okay. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, so Paul, let me get right into it because I'm very, very curious about how COVID, and it sounds like we're moving past it now, thankfully. How did it affect you? Where were you in your career back in March of 2020? And I'm sure things have changed tremendously for you, and hopefully things are starting to open up for you as well. But, man, how did it specifically affect you, and how did you cope with all the changes?
Well, that's a good question because there's many things in that part. Because not only am I a worker, but I'm also a promoter in my area, so it affected me in different ways. So basically, I got hurt just before COVID hit, where everything shut down. I got hurt, so I was ready to come back. So I was off for about a month. I had a small knee injury, so I was ready to come back, but then everything shut down, and I haven't wrestled since. So I haven't been in a ring for a year. So COVID in our area, we're not allowed to have any shows or anything. So it's basically been dead for a year so far.
Dude, well, and I'm sure that must have been really, really tough. Now, I'm curious, what did you miss more? Did you miss competing, or did you miss running and managing the shows more? I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Honestly, I haven't missed it until last January, and I'll tell you why. I've been where I promote our organization. We had a show every week.
Wow.
So I've been grinding week in, week out, training, getting in shape, working because I have, a job because I don't make my living. I got to pay the bills.
Right.
So I have my job working and doing a show every week. So, you get used to it. But then, when it stopped, I kind of felt a little relief, like I needed a break. Sometimes you don't realize you needed a break. So just imagine those guys in WWE or whatever that are on the road 300 days, over 300 days a year. I mean, you're such in motion. You don't have time to assess anything. You're just used to doing it. So it felt good to take a break. My mind needed a break. So, and then after Christmas and all that, and when I saw the Rumble there, I always love to watch, the Royal Rumble. I started to get pumped up again, and gyms opened back in early February. So I kind of had a new focus, get back to the gym, train, and that mindset brought me back, willing to go back in the ring. And I have all sorts of projects, so I can't wait to be able to create new projects. So, right now, we can't wait to get going because, as a performer, I want to perform from the audience. And as a promoter, I can't wait to start, doing shows again. So we have lots of ideas on the table, so we can't wait to be able to do all that. So right now, we're just, anxious to get out. So it's like we're like caged animals right now. So when the door opens, people are going to have to watch out because we're going to explode out of that cage.
Dude, I believe it. Now, I'm curious. I know, especially with your promoter hat on, there's got to be some guys that you would call your hometown guys that are with you at every show. Could you talk to us about some of those guys that you lean on heavily when it comes to running shows? Maybe your heavyweight champion, your tag champs. Who are some of those people?
Yeah, well, there's just there's many guys. When you have a promotion, you have to rely on a whole group of people because the more people that help out, the better it is. We have different guys. I work with different organizations. I have my own. I also work for SNL, which probably you guys are a little bit familiar with Eric Lemay, with the owner of SNL. So I'm presently the number one contender against SNL heavyweight champion, which is XS. So he's the champion right now.
All right.
In my organization, we have a guy that's named Nick. He's been in the business for only a few years, but he's been doing pretty good. So, but we have a lot of local guys that started there, and we get guys also that are from other cities, other towns. So it's good to have a diversity in the shows, So the advantage of having the local wrestlers is ticket sales. Because
Right.
most of the time, and that's probably like that everywhere, the guys that sell the tickets is the local guys.
Yes.
Because people don't buy tickets. They'll buy a ticket for their local hero. And it was the same thing even in the professional world, in the big events. Back in the day when there was the NWA, you had your local champion, and you had like Ric Flair was the world heavyweight champion going to other promotions defending his title. So that's basically how it worked back in the day. So yeah, you need your local guys to sell a ticket, and your big stars that bring credibility to your shows and quality matches that come down and give experience to your other guys. So that's basically what we do.
Well, that is pretty awesome, man. And you know what? Like I admire people that can do what you do, Paul, because admittedly, and we talk to a lot of workers here on this show, and a lot of guys will admit, yeah, when I do this, I'm always looking out for my brother, but this is you're almost like an independent contractor in this business. So it's natural to think mostly about yourself, especially as a worker.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can take that hat off and because you know how it is with with promoters and booking themselves and the stigma that goes along with that. Have you found it, like, it sounds like you found it pretty easy to put yourself, in the back seat and let other guys kind of drive the car, as they say. It seems like a simple thing for you, but have you had any challenges along the way with being a promoter, deciding where to put yourself on the card, and then maybe even other people knowing you're a promoter and they go, well, if I book Paul Goliath well, maybe he'll book me on his show. Have you had any challenges with I guess the politics of it all? Because I know they're two very different hats, and I admire you for as well as you've done. I'm curious about your experiences though.
Yeah, that's true. It's a very good question. It's not something I think about, but yes, it's something that probably the boys will think about.
Right.
But the important thing is when you promote, if you don't realize it, then you'll go down. You have to realize what you do is the best for the show. And you have to know your place on the card. Is there a period where Paul Goliath was main eventing my promotion? Yes, but I wasn't the guy that was just putting myself on the card. I know what I'm worth. So if I'm worth opening match, I'm going to put myself opening match. You have to be able to critique yourself. Even if you're not a promoter, you have to look yourself in the mirror and know your place on the card. So obviously everybody wants to be the main event. Everybody wants to be the champion, the star of the show. But you have to be able to critique yourself. So that aspect, yes, for sure. I mean, people might want to book me correctly, but I don't think it's that much of a problem because other promoters will book who deserves to be on that spot, right? So
right.
I think the people that talk about that sort of stuff is between the workers,
right,
between the boys. So that politics stuff, I don't really think about that, and you can't because you have a better objective. The main objective is what? It's to put on
a good show,
and it's to entertain that crowd.
Yes.
The important thing is to satisfy the customer, the fan that has paid his hard-earned money, that is sitting there and is watching the show. That's the main objective. The guy that's not happy about 7-minute match or whatever, whether it's going under or over, that's not very important to me. You know what I mean? The important thing is the fans, is the audience. So
Right.
you have to be able to put that aside. If you take stuff too personally, it will affect you. So obviously, it's not a spot, for everyone.
Well, and you know what? I'll jump on here and say this, Paul. I have to admit, I've never been a worker, but I have run a handful of shows successfully. I think that there's a culture in professional wrestling that if you were not navigating those waters properly and you were, putting your shit over and not ranking yourself appropriately, like not being humble about it, I think eventually either somebody would have called you out on it or there would have been a problem. So by no means am I saying that that's not a doable thing. You just have to be very, very intelligent and very honest and humble with not only everyone but yourself about knowing where you belong on a particular card. So that's why I was so interested in talking to you, because I know that's got to be a challenge. And to today, as far as we know, you have a great reputation. Your boys love working for you. The guys that book you love having you there. So clearly you're one of those guys that actually gets it and understands how to navigate those waters correctly. So kudos to you for that. Big time.
Well, thank you. Yes. Thank you. And yes, it's all about attitude. You have to have a good attitude, regardless of what position you're at. If you have a bad attitude, no one will want you. So you have to have a good attitude.
Damn right. Yeah. Don't be a pain in the.
The boys are promoting. Since you are promoting, there's one thing, maybe a culture. There's one thing that people like. I think guys have, boys or girls, have to realize is you may be an independent contractor. You might wrestle in different organizations, but remember one thing: it's not only the promoter's job to bring the crowd over. You know what I mean? It's your job also to help sell tickets, help with everything.
Preach.
Okay? You want the promoter to book you on the show. Well, if you want him to book you on the show, you got to show him work. Whether it's helping him out with the show, whether it's selling tickets, you have to help out. If you don't help out, and you're just, I just want my payoff and I just want to go on the show and wrestle a match. It doesn't give that much to a promoter. There's a lot of guys that could wrestle a good match, but that's not the end all be all. So it should be a collaboration. People look at WWE where these guys have like guaranteed contracts. Well, I'm sorry. Well, number one, the reason they have guaranteed contracts is because WWE has, television contracts where they have guaranteed money already in their pocket. So they could, budget a certain percentage of talent money. You know what I mean? So that's a totally different game. But in the independent scene, if there's no one in the crowd, no one's making money. So the more you work with the promoter that hires you, the more you help him bring people over, the more people there will be, the more successful he will be, and the more he'll give you. So it should be a collaboration. So all you young guys, workers that are listening to this podcast, whether you're a fan or not, you want it to be a collaboration. It can't be 100% on one side. It has to be always 50-50. And that the promoter, he can be the captain of the boat, but if there's nobody to help run the engine, the boat won't go anywhere.
Amen, dude. Paul freaking Goliath nailing it. Well, John, I know you got some questions of your own, so I'm going to go ahead and hit Paul with one more and then throw it over to you. People love names, Paul. You know this, so you're going to get your typical "who have you worked with" question. But in doing our research, I did see that you had the opportunity to work with not one but two former guests of the Wrestle Talk podcast, guys that we respect tremendously. And as a matter of fact, here at the end of next month, we're going to be seeing one of these guys here in the beautiful state of Kansas. In the one brutal Bob Evans is going to be doing an event with AIWF, XWE, WWX and PCW. Yours truly will either be ring announcing or doing commentary. So more information to come on that show. But Paul, dude, it is, dude. We're doing IWF does big things, as you know. They've got a Canada division as well. A shout out to Matt Creed. He really loves us. We love him. We try to take care of each other. But, bro, talk to us about Bob Evans and bringing guys like that into your promotion and working alongside, I should say, guys like that makes you better, makes everybody else better, man. What do you take away from those experiences, getting a chance to work with guys like that? And also, let me throw this name out there, former guest, PCO. Real, knowledgeable, intelligent, low-key legends of the game, I would say. How do you feel about getting a chance to work with guys like that?
Oh, man, good question. Hey, you talk about that brutal Bob Evans. I just spoke to him earlier this afternoon. So.
Oh, wow, there you go.
Funny you talked to me about Bob Evans. So, yeah, we have a good relationship. You can mention my name when you speak to him in the podcast. I'm sure he'll talk to you about me. But
we will.
Yeah, Bob Evans. You know when I said attitude?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's a veteran with the best attitude and the best guy you want around. I mean, you want a veteran to help you out. You can't name anyone other than Bob Evans. You know what I mean? In any way, shape, or form. So, it's about the business, about the in-ring, the outside of the ring, the psychology. And, he has a great attitude. He will help out every worker, whether a green worker or an experienced worker. He's a great guy. Awesome. I enjoyed being in the ring with him, and I speak to him once in a while. And, we have great conversations about the business. So great guy.
Cool. And just real quick before John takes over, you got to tell me about your experience with fellow Canadian PCO, man. I know that's, again, low-key legend in the game, bro. How was that?
Yeah. Here's a story about PCO.
All right.
PCO stopped wrestling for a few years. He took a break from, I think he stopped around 2009 and started back in 2018.
Yeah, about 9 years, 9 years, if I remember correctly. Yep.
I saw him have a small match, and then I contacted him, and then I had an agreement with him to come down to my promotion, and he came in, and we hit it off well. Great guy. That guy, man. You want to know someone who works hard? That guy is a beast. He's a monster. I mean, his gimmick. When he started working with me in my organization, he didn't have yet the PCO is not human gimmick.
Right.
He was starting to do some trainings and videos, but he was talking about little stuff. And when we were talking to the phone, there's a few things that came in the conversation, and then slowly you saw it come to life. And he started to work, in the States more often.
Right.
And then later on, he went to I think it's LA to PWG. What's the tournament already called there?
Pro Wrestling Gorilla. Yeah, the Pro Wrestling Gorilla show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This huge tournament they have there, and he went to wrestle there, and soon thereafter he's at Ring of Honor. So, yeah, he started to wrestle, in his older gimmick. Well, the same, look that he had against Walter, the WrestleMania weekend.
Right.
So that was that time when I was working with him. So I worked with him in summer of 2018. And he stopped wrestling in Canada. I think he started more in the States afterwards. So
right.
Yeah, so I worked with him, and yeah, it's fun. It's funny. I talked to someone from the newspaper earlier, and he asked me about questions about wrestling, about big stars and stuff like that. And I told wrestling is the only sport or whatever you call it, entertainment where you could wrestle your heroes. You could work with your heroes. Just imagine you're a young guy and you're watching Michael Keaton doing Batman.
Yeah, my favorite Batman. It's my favorite one.
You're playing a character in Batman, and you're facing Michael Keaton in Batman. It's not going to happen because Michael Keaton gets older, and so he doesn't have the
right
for the Batman. So but it happens in wrestling. You know, you're a young guy and you look at PCO wrestling like the legendary wrestlers. You know, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. You know, name it. He's been in the ring with so many guys, but he's humble and he works hard. He doesn't come in and go on his path. He wants to be the best and he wants to improve all the time. So it was a blast working with him. With a good match, and yeah, it's another great guy. You know,
Dude,
I can't say nothing but good things about him.
that's awesome. Well, what a blessed career you had so far to work with guys like that. And guess what? You get to work with another guy now because JP Hardcore Hoss, jump on in here, man. Had a great conversation so far with Paul Goliath, but now it's your turn, man. What do you got?
Yeah, and actually, one of the questions I tend to like to ask people a lot, you're kind of touching on already. I always love to know out of anybody, past, present, if you could book yourself in a dream match against anybody at all, who would your dream match be against?
That if you want something to dream, that would be it. Other than that, I like, you know, good storytelling. You know, so if it could be a guy that, you know, that's a legend wrestler. It could be a wrestler that's not known. But if the story is good and the crowd is hot, then that's it for me. You know. So yeah, I'd say the dream match would be The Rock. Darn it.
All right. And you touched on The Rock. That was one of the people that you watched growing up, and one of them that kind of inspired you. So this one's kind of a two-part question. At what point did you realize that this is what you wanted to do, that you wanted to get in the ring and wrestle, and who else was your inspirations at the time?
I love The Rock. Triple H also was one, because he's a ring general. So I love Triple H. You know, I remember hating him. You know what I mean? I remember back in the day, and I started really watching wrestling end of 99, early 2000. I really started watching. You know, when I was young, I saw a little bit Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, but the real time that I was really religiously watching it was at that period. But that period, it was Triple H. You know, he started getting his name in, and he had that feud with Cactus Jack, you know, before we had his first retirement. You know, back in the day, at that time, I hated him, but I appreciated him afterwards. That he did his job that, you know, made him hate him, you know. And I like the story of the champion challenging, you know, the heel. So Triple H is one. You know, other guys, you know, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, you know, those guys are just legendary wrestlers. So that's probably the ones that influenced me the most. I'm not sure when exactly the moment I say I wanted to wrestle, but I was watching it for a long time. And you know, it's always a dream. I just love the entertainment factor of it. Not only being in the ring, but I like everything about wrestling. I like the theater aspect of it, you know, the technical, the lighting. And when I do big shows, I like to put in, you know, WrestleMania-like events, you know, like pyro and lights and stuff. So I like all that stuff in wrestling. So I got that feeling at that period of time. And then when I was younger with a bunch of friends, you know, we wanted to wrestle. So we did a little bit of wrestling, you know, in the backyard a little bit. And then after, when I in the school, I had only one objective, and it's wrestle. So that's all. And then I went to a school, and the rest is history there.
And if a new up and comer was talking to you and said, I really want to get into this and get good at it, what would your advice to them be?
Get in, or if they just started?
Yeah, if they're just starting out, what would your advice? Yeah, if they're just
for young, they've just started. They just started taking bumps. I would say concentrate on a character, charisma, and being solid in the ring. Being solid in the ring and using charisma. That's the most important thing. Committing to your character. Too many guys have looks or costumes, but when they go in the ring, all they do is wrestle. And that's fine, it's good, but you know how many wrestlers are there in the world? What's going to set you apart from all those guys? It's not the move. Because your move is just as good as the next guy, So if you have a character, commit it 100%. Not 50%. Commit it 100%. So that's what I would say. Commit it. Your character, your look, your gimmick, work on that. And take your time, If you go too fast, then the fans won't have time to process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Sounds like some good, solid advice right there.
Heck yeah. And I'll tell you what, we do have a lot of young guys that watch the show. We have a training center just a couple of miles away here in Kansas City. I know there's a lot of young talent there that like to check out the show. And throughout the greater Midwest, actually, a couple of well-respected schools where you've got guys that tune in. So that advice is more valuable than Paul. So thank you for that. As we reach the end of our time.
Maybe someday I'll pass by.
Dude, heck yeah, bro. Hey, you're not the only one, too, because Danny Duggan is a longtime friend of the show. He's also up in Canada, as you know. And, we've been excited when he said that he's been wanting to come down because he goes Minnesota and places like that. I'm like, man, come on, work your way down a little further south. Come get some of this weather, this Midwest weather. We'd absolutely love to have you, man. It'd be freaking fantastic, Paul. We'd love that.
Great. We'll try to fix something up for sure.
Dude, yeah.
And since you're having Bob Evans down,
That's right.
Figure something out with Bob.
Do the drives.
Working on the other side of the border, but we'll try to work something out. That's
right. Like Bob says, you got to do the drives, man. Do the drives. So, final question before you go, Paul. As I alluded to at the beginning of our time here, things are starting to open back up. And we talked about, how the break actually was probably a good thing for you because you've been running every single week for a long time. Much like every other wrestling fan, worker, promoter, referee, everybody in between, we're all excited about the potential moving forward this year. What are you most looking forward to for yourself in your career in 2021?
Well, I'm looking forward to starting back. I have a lot of personal projects that I want to, do. I have some special big shows that I want to do that is like never been done. So I have some projects that I can't wait to really put to life, and I can't wait to get back in the ring. And also, like I said, I want to at least go to the Year Next Awards, at least one. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. Getting back in the ring and wrestling different people and going in the U.S. at least once in my career. So,
all right. Well,
I'm looking forward.
Let's try to make that happen. All right. Well, Paul, thank you again for joining us here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, episode 338. We're like you, man. We're just out here trying to hustle and be consistent. Hopefully you enjoyed your stay, and allow me and my partner here, Hardcore Hoss, to be the first to welcome you in as the newest member of the Wrestle Talk family, man. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Happy to be a part of it, boys.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you again very, very soon down the road. Last thing before you go, brother, can you tell us how people can follow you, your promotion, and everything you got coming up for 2021, man? Social media, website, whatever you got, baby. Give it to us.
Yeah, sure. Yes. So Paul Goliath. I use Facebook. We're on Facebook. So it's Paul Goliath. Type it in and you'll see it. Just like my page. Also, I work at FML. Got a shout out to FML, which is Eric Renate's big promotion down close. It's close to Montreal area. So FML also my promotion. JCW. Well, there's no show right now, but we can't wait to start back. So if there's any workers or whatnot, or anyone who wants to come down, or just look at our product that is online, videos, just like our pages. And yeah, that's about it. So can't wait to start back, guys.
Much love, brother. Blessings out there on the road. We'll catch you next time.
All right, guys.
Peace. Well, JP, what can I say, bro? An incredible first hour of the show. A huge thanks to everybody who has made this episode possible, starting with Rathbuns Engraving. You guys know custom mugs, $20 with your name engraved plus shipping. Kincaid, Esports, Pat Milicic, and Jay Hollywood are wonderful sponsors. Royal Mills Transportation, and, you know, one of my personal favorites, I-70 Sports Media, Jeremy Karp, and those boys over in the St. Louis area covering all sports throughout the Midwest, but particularly everything along the I-70 highway from St. Louis to Kansas City. Those guys are doing big things. Probably one of the hottest sports pages in the Midwest right now. Proud sponsors of the Wrestle Talk podcast. Jeremy Karp, you know we love you, brother. Hopefully everything is good. And we hope to have you back on the show very, very soon as one of our hosts. John, I think it's about that time, though, because we're going to go from one awesome talent to another awesome talent, and it's also his very first time on the show. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome in Kansas City's very own, also dear friend of mine, and a guy who not too long ago was just telling me about his dream to get into the business. And now you can see him fairly frequently on AEW television. We got, I believe, some music that we're going to bump to lead in. Give me some Raw, Hoss, as we welcome in for the very first time, my amigo, Dean Alexander. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Dean Alexander, man, welcome to the prestigious Wrestle Talk podcast, man. How the hell you doing tonight?
Joe Renee, what is going on? I'm happy to be here. What is up?
What up? Well, you'll be happy to hear this. You actually dodged the bullet like Neo in the Matrix. Joe is actually not here today. I'm actually being joined by our audio engineer, a.k.a. Hardcore Hoss. So say hello, gentlemen.
What's up, Hoss?
How you doing?
Doing well, buddy.
Hey, Hoss, hit him with the, that's right.
That's right.
Dude, what an amazing opportunity that we have here. I have to be honest. Initially, I was really, really excited about the potential of an in-studio interview with you. Because whenever guys are here locally, in my own mind, I'm like, yo, come in. Let's sit down. It's way cooler. we weren't really doing the video thing yet. This is actually our crusade, first day of our crusade into the video streaming realm outside of Facebook Live, Dean. So this is a big day of first for us. We've been saying it all show. Then my dumbass comes to realize that you're not local anymore. Some things we are. You apparently moved down to the South, where I'm originally from. You know, I'm a Florida boy through and through. But, dog, you moved from Kansas City to Atlanta to chase your dream. And we're going to talk about what you've been doing here recently. But, bro, take us back to Jump Street. We're sitting in your garage doing your podcast, Dean and the Boys. And you're like, Renee, man, I'm thinking about it, dog. I'm gonna cut back on the brewski and get serious about my health again. And here we freaking are, dude. Take me back to what happened basically the day after we hung out in your garage and did the podcast to where we kind of are now, if you can, please.
Yeah. First of all, how do I sound?
Fantastic.
Sound okay?
Sound
Perfect.
great. Yeah.
So, really, I don't mean this to sound bad, but I was a lot of talk, you know. I always wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. And I think a lot of people, you know, they fall into that category too, where they always just talk about what they want to do. And unfortunately, that was me. And it took, you know, my dad died. And from then, you know, this sounds kind of morbid, I guess, but he died like 12 days before his 60th birthday. And I was 32 when we were having these talks, Renee. And he died. And it was, like I said, it was 12 days before his 60th birthday. And if I were to go his route, I'm half dead. And like I said, I know that's a morbid way to think about that.
True, though. I mean, so you're being honest with yourself is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. And I didn't like working at the railroad. I knew I had a great job, but I just didn't like working there. And I wanted something more for myself, something I could say I was proud of. So it was going to be MMA or pro wrestling, because I had trained like jujitsu and stuff before. So that's what I was going to do. And I decided, you know, I don't want to get hit in the face for real. I don't want to get kicked in the face, even though that both those things,
baby. Too pretty.
Yeah. Both those things have happened since then. But yeah, I just decided to go for it. And that's when I walked into XWC there in Raytown.
Well, and you know what? Just hearing you say that, that's when I walked in XWC. We'll spend some time there as well. But I'm curious, what do you think? Because it's fairly recent still, right? It's not like, you know, we talked to PCO, we talked to guys who've been in the game, to Savio Vega, guys that have been doing this for a long time. And I think it's harder for them to pinpoint where that moment was, where the talking stopped and the action started. So how far after your unfortunate loss, and again, man, we mourn the loss of your father. That's always huge in every person's life, especially a young man. But how long after that did you say, damn it, this is what I'm going to do? And I imagine that was the primary motivating factor, but how much more did it push you in that direction?
You know, I let things kind of settle in for a little bit. That was December, let's just say December of 2018. I believe it was the end of January or the beginning of February. I don't exactly remember the date. The 21st sticks out. So the 21st of January, the 21st of February, I think, was my the day I walked in there. But I just let it sink in. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to jump in and do it. You know, I've nothing to lose. And then when I got in the ring finally, man, it was just like, wow, this is fun. This is so much fun.
Now, and this, I know this could potentially sound like a shot, and it's not. Let me be clear. I'm very proud to be where I am, and for every company that I work for. So I'm going to be a little careful the way I ask this. But did you find yourself to be more than physically capable once you went into school, because you were already working on your body and your physique and all that before you went to pro wrestling training? So do you think that gave you an advantage, or did you find yourself to be physically overwhelmed when you first went to training? I'm curious.
I was in pretty good shape. And that's always been the case. When I was in, even, you know, say I was carrying a little extra weight, like in high school wrestling for 215, I never had to cut weight or anything, but I always had wind. I could always just go. I could just keep going. So I was very fortunate in that. So when I got in there, what I was surprised at, like walking in and seeing some guys that are in shape, some guys that aren't in shape, but they're doing stuff that's just as athletic as anything I can do. I couldn't do a backflip, and there's guys in there that you would look at them, just at first glance, you'd be like, no way that guy's doing a backflip. But
oh yeah,
boy, they're talented. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Dude,
I still can't do a backflip.
You still can't. All right. Well, that maybe that's something for us to look forward to. The Dean Alexander backflip, man. That's dope. So once you actually started going to the school, did you find yourself leaning in a particular direction, like as far as like brawler or hyper athletic? Did you see yourself leaning more towards heel, babyface? What were your initial instincts when you started to learn and started to discover who this like Dean Alexander is as a persona?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to be a heel.
All right.
I like that. I like being a heel. As far as I like to put in a little bit of everything, because guys like Stone Cold, he's my favorite. He's a brawler.
Right.
He didn't start off a brawler. He had to change his style. But that's how I saw myself. But also I like doing like the jump off the rope disaster kick stuff, just to show the little glimpses of Flash. And I think that's kind of just trying to find that sweet spot. Like I'm still working on it now, trying to find some more, like not that a disaster kick is high flying, but something.
But there's a lot of athleticism to that, though. I mean,
yeah, something in that vein. So like I'm doing the brawling stuff, but then they see me pop that out. They're like, oh, he can do that stuff too.
I think that's what makes guys, and not to put you in the same ballpark because I know it's hefty expectations, but it's when we see a guy that everyone can relate to, like a Drew McIntyre. He's 6-something, bigger guy, right, by definition. But then you see him do that kick, and you go, whoa. You know what I mean? So having something like that in your back pocket, I think, is very important. Any inkling on what we might be seeing moving forward? I don't want you to spoil it, but what might you be working on that you can share? How about that?
Like a move?
Yeah, move.
I'm flirting with Rana. I can tell you that much.
Wow. I'd pay money to see that. Not that you're not athletic, but I mean, I saw your first match. So going from your first match to that, I think that, dude, that would be incredible.
It's a different way to get into it, and one that's safe that I think I can pull off on a regular basis. But the problem is, I can only do it to certain people, probably.
Right. Is it a height thing?
I think, a lot of it depends on them.
Okay, gotcha. Fair enough. Well, you know what? Unlike the last interview, I'm going to be fair here and throw it over to my partner, Hardcore Hoss, because when we were getting ready to do this interview, I was telling John, I was like, yeah, I know the guy. We've hung out a few times or whatever, done some business or what have you at KCX. And then I told him that you'd recently appeared on AEW TV, whether it be Dark or whatever, but, it's AEW. So John was pretty excited, and he's all the way out in West Virginia, and even he's heard about you. So, I mean, dude, your name is resonating. Obviously, the exposure helps, but the talent is there to back it all up. So I'll throw it over to John and see what kind of questions he might have.
Yeah, so what was it like to compete on AEW TV?
Oh, man. It was very overwhelming at first. I was, I'm in Atlanta now, driving to Jacksonville. Dude, I could have floated away the amount of butterflies that I had. Not just for the in-ring stuff, but, you don't want to mess up backstage, or anything like that. So I kind of stick to myself, but also make myself known enough, go out there, shake some hands, and just go sit down somewhere off to the side. If I have to get up and go to the bathroom, I'll make a lap so I can be seen again, but then I go right back to sitting down and just hanging out by myself, just trying to get myself out there enough. But man, I've done this I haven't been there too many times, but I've done this every time. I stand on the stage and I see people, whether it's practicing in the ring, like before, like the girls in there, some of the guys just working on stuff, but just seeing everyone, like I might be standing next to Arn Anderson while I'm doing that. And I just strike up a conversation with them, and for 10 minutes, you know, it's just Arn and I just shooting the shit, you know. Got curse on here? I'm sorry.
Yeah, bro. It's internet radio, dog. Plus, you know me. Like, could I do a podcast without a couple of shits and fucks? I mean,
All right, there we go.
But
yeah, you know,
we're no Joe Rogan, but, you know, we do what we can.
all right. But yeah, just taking it in, man, just and appreciating that I'm there, you know. Just not too long ago, Renee, like you just said, I was in what's called the Shrine, you know. I was in the Shrine performing in front of 200 people. And now I'm on AEW TV. It's just
check this out though. Like, and John, I know this is your question, but here's the lack of okay, like this is kind of what makes it storybook to me. You were able to make this jump during COVID era. Who moved forward? No one moved forward during COVID era. Everyone either stayed stagnant or moved backwards in many effects. I think Wrestle Talk podcast moved forward, but you know, we're internet based, so we're very fortunate because people didn't have shit to do, and they must have watched everything on Netflix, finished everything on Hulu. They don't finish their Amazon Prime and their WWE Network, and they're like, screw it, we'll just watch Wrestle Talk. So, but there were very few things that were able to project themselves forward during this time. I think that's what makes where you are now, not that you're done by any means, but that's what makes it so unprecedented. It wasn't that you weren't talented enough or that, you know, there aren't opportunities out there. It was that you did it during a time where everybody else was, again, either staying stagnant or moving backwards. Has that settled in with you yet? Because I don't know. I'm curious if you've even looked at it from that perspective.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely have, like, how crazy it was what I did to get here. Not only that, like, especially just for me personally, you know, I did have a good job, and then I made that jump. But not only did I make that jump, I made it, like you said, during COVID, which is bonkers. You know, if you tell someone that's not in the business, you know, you tell some people and they're like, I get that, man, you must love it. And they're right, I do. But you tell someone not in the business, they're like, you are a crazy person. I mean, it's still crazy to think about sometimes.
Well, here's what's even crazier in my opinion, and we are going to share a little bit of a clip here. I was watching. I've seen everything that you've done up to this point. I think I've either been at, called, or watched pretty much every one of your matches, whether it be KCXW, Royal Alliance. I don't know if you did an XWE show. I might have seen you out there once, maybe nope. Not. No, not yet. Okay, and now AEW, dude. It's crazy to me because I'm watching. And Taz is talking about this guy left a great job at the railroad to come and pursue his dream. And Taz is like, I used to work in the railroad. Maybe I'll go down with Dean Alexander and talk some railroad stuff. And I'm like, bro, your Taz is putting you over. I'm like, bah! I'm losing my freaking mind, bro. Did you hear that? And how did that make you feel? I mean, it was identification, bro.
So Agogo came up to me, Anthony Agogo. He was calling that match with him. And he's the one that pointed out, you know, this guy left his job. And that's when Taz said, hey, you know who else did that? That was me. Well, Gogo came up to me after the match and was like, hey, Taz wants to talk to you sometime about the railroad. So one day I saw him, I shook his hand, said hi, and we just talked. Now he was a real railroader. He was on the track gang. That's tough work. That's tough work. But yeah, we just chatted up for about 5 minutes. And yeah, it was nuts. I have a friend. You know, I used to do the backyard or basement wrestling.
Right.
And
who hasn't though? I mean, really.
Yeah. And Taz, he was my guy. And one of my buddies from way back then goes, dude, he just hit me up. What's it like to have Taz call your match? It's nuts. I
know. Can I put myself in your shoes? Well, you know, the Night Owl has been calling my matches the majority of my career. So I kind of already started up here, but, you know, Taz, you know, that kind of – no, I'm not kidding. Totally joking, dude. That guy's great at everything he does. Manager, wrestler, commentator. This dude has forgotten more wrestling than I'll ever know. Of course, I'm just kidding. But how awesome is that? Now, with your permission, I want to share a clip again. We're doing this yard stream thing for the first time. Hopefully you guys are digging it. If it's shit, let us know. You always do. Thanks a lot, Twitter. Thanks a lot, Twitter. I actually want to do a quick screen share and have you kind of walk us through this. This is something that basically just hit the public square on the 15th, and it's this match where you and a couple of guys went up against the Butcher and the Blade with Private Party. You want to give us a little bit of a background on this match? Who were you partnered with in this matchup before I hit play?
So I was partnered with, I believe, Carly Bravo,
Okay.
Rick Aldridge, and David Ali.
Okay, David Ali. Okay, gotcha. All right, so let's go ahead and hit the share. And we won't hit the audio because obviously we don't want to get copyright or anything, but we can watch the clip.
Okay.
Let's hit it. And let's hit play. And go ahead and walk us through this thing. That's you right there in the middle, right?
Yeah.
So what's going on at this point here?
At this point, I'm still kind of a little bit in awe right here, especially right here when Matt comes up and he's, jaw jacking us.
You're trash talking Matt Hardy, bro.
It is
boom again.
Bonkers, man. I was just like, it's wild. Wow.
All right, so here you guys going in. We're obviously not going to play the whole match there. So what went into the decision about who was going to start off this match? I'm curious about that.
I think I want to say familiarity. Some of these guys had already talked to Bravo. He was there like a week before me.
Okay.
So I think they had already talked to him. They're like, yeah, we'll start with you.
Okay. Now I'm curious. So you were spending some time or continuing to spend some time with Cody Rhodes at his training facility, his school, right?
Yes.
And so I'm curious, does going down there, here we go. Does going down there open up these sorts of opportunities, and how difficult is it to get into that training institution?
Oh, 100%. That's the only reason I'm here. I have no doubt, without the camp, I would have been here at some point. That's me just believing in myself. But man. Whew.
Right. And when you say
double drop kick to the head.
Right, I know that's rough. Yeah, they're giving you the business for sure. So when you say you left your awesome career on the railroad that paid very well to go and do this, is that when you left down to do the camp?
Yes.
The camp? Okay, gotcha.
Yes, because so to talk about the camp, I just applied one night. I was, I knew what it entailed. I would have to quit my job or get a leave of absence of some sort. But when, oh boy, getting thrown out here.
Yeah, there you go. Here we go.
But they wouldn't give me a leave of absence. And I remember, I believe the superintendent tried, but he said, when do you need to know? And I said this respectfully, but I just said, hey, no matter what happens, I'm going. I just want a place to come home to, because I didn't know moving back down to Atlanta or being invited back was even an option. But when he said he couldn't do it, and I said, thank you, and I put in my 2 weeks, that's when I went down. I just happened to be randomly selected. I mean, there was like 1,000 applicants, and I was one of the first 25.
Whoa. One? Okay, so you're one of 25 that were chosen out of 1,000.
1,000 applicants, yes.
What are the odds? I mean, I'm not going to ask anybody to sit here and do math, but I mean, so basically 25 out of 1,000. I mean, dude, and I'm curious, when they're kind of doing this random selection, do they ask you, hey, do you understand that you're going to have to move down here? I mean, do they kind of lay it out all for you? Because there's a lot of people who talk about, I'm going to wrestling school, but they don't really understand. It's not so much about what you're going to be doing when you get there. It's about what you have to give up in order to get there. Am I right?
Oh yeah. And so they called and they, there's no help with housing or anything. That's up to you. The meal preps, there's no meal prep service or anything. There's a nutritionist that will make you a meal plan, but that's all up to you. Transportation, all up to you. You just pay the tuition, you show up and work hard. And the strength and conditioning was first class. It was at Chip Smith Performance Systems. I mean, they train people for the NFL Combine.
Right.
And we were going through the same stuff they were going in.
Absolutely incredible. And you talk about humble beginnings here at KCX. And I know we'll spend more time talking about your match and the experience up at AEW, but before I throw it over to John, are there any guys here that you want to point to and say, hey, that guy are also part of the reason that I am where I am now? Because I know that working KCX is basically what started it all. And I'm sure you could have probably found another avenue, but when you walked into that school, that was kind of like that first major step, in my opinion. What about the guys there that have helped influence and push you and project you forward to where you are now? Anybody you want to talk about or shout out?
Everybody that helped me along the way. I mean, there's David Catton, Adam, Jake. Now I'm forgetting people's names. What's his name? I just talked to him the other day. Who's the guy out in Denver now?
Derek Stone.
Derek Stone. How did I forget his name? Yeah, Derek Stone. I wasn't able to work with him too much, but I mean, the few times I was able to. I mean, he's so nice. Everyone is so nice. The wrestling business has the nicest people. I'm convinced of that. Everybody. I worked with Goldman a lot. Leo D, my first match. Ryan Gingell. We trained a lot together. Hey, let me try this on you. It was nice having another big man that we could. Hey, I want to try this move. Let's see if I can do it on a guy your size, and he would do the same to me.
Well, what's crazy is that all the guys you just named have the potential and have the work ethic to be exactly where you are right now.
Yeah,
would you agree with that?
Definitely, everybody.
Working freaking dudes, man. It's incredible that just now, after this many years of being the longest running school in Kansas City, being the longest running promotion in Kansas City, these guys are finally starting to get their due. Not to mention Cameron Burnett recently signed with NXT.
Oh yeah, can't forget Cameron.
Oh, Cam, love you. The Regal twins, which were part of that very first class. Then you got some of the guys that were there that are coming back now, like El Diablo making a comeback, starting to work there now. So, dude, it's very, very exciting for me. But with all that said, John, your turn, buddy. What do you got for our boy Dean here? Because you were right in the middle of your questions, and I just so happened to take over like a big jerk. So I apologize, bro. But what else you got for Dean?
Yeah, I'd say it's just fascinating the way, looking at everything, 2019, you begin training with XWC, and then, 2021, you're in the Nightmare Factory, and you're on AEW with the Butcher, the Blade, Private Party. That's a dream come true right there. I mean, that's so many people would just kill to be able to do that much in that little bit of time. It's absolutely amazing. And one question I asked the last guest, and like to ask a lot of our guests, is, we have a lot of people who do listen who say, man, I really wish I could do that, or really wish I could do something even close to that. Yeah. So what type of suggestion would you give them? What knowledge would you pass on to them to help them along their path to becoming a professional wrestler?
I mean, it's exactly what I just start now. It doesn't have to be a Monday. If you're out of shape, start right now. Go meal prep. All that information, it's not expensive. I eat ground chicken and ground beef. It is so inexpensive.
Every freaking day.
Every day. It does get boring, but then you get to play with it, and all of a sudden you're a chef. But start today. Get in shape, but find a school. Find somewhere around you and just start. You just have to do it. And it might sound like I'm shilling, or it could sound cheesy to someone, but really you have to. This is what Cody says all the time. You have to do the work. That's real. It's up to you. No one else is going to do it for you. There's a shirt I have, and I don't sell it or anything, but I made it, and it says it's my fault. Because I believe, and this goes for everybody in any position, where you are at in life is a direct correlation to the choices you have made. And so it's your fault. No matter, say I wasn't invited back to Atlanta to continue training, and I went back to KC with no job. I have no one to complain to because that was my fault. I made that decision. I was able to go to the camp, and not have to work or worry about money. I did worry about money, but I didn't have to worry about money because I was able to, I saved enough to where, hey, this is going to get me through. And I did that. So, but to go back to the question, you have to just start. There's someone around you that knows how to wrestle, and you can pay them and they will give you that knowledge. And you just keep going. Just keep trying to improve yourself no matter what. There's videos you can watch. Al Snow has a bunch of videos out there where you can pretty much watch an Al Snow seminar and not pay anything. It's right there on YouTube.
Preach.
All right.
What else you got, JP?
So, who would your dream match be against?
Oh my God.
Oh, here we go.
Dream match of current
Yeah.
wrestlers. Let's say current wrestlers.
Current? Is that current, JP?
He can go current. He can go past. You know.
Oh, the
my
pool just
goodness.
opened up for you, bro. Well,
Oh
here's
my
the reason why we say the past, because we just finished up Wrestle Madness, and we narrowed down from 64 to the best wrestler of the 80s. So our mind is still in the old school because we just came off of several weeks of doing that, Dean. So yeah,
Okay.
all time, right, John? All time. Who would you book yourself against?
that's
Yeah, that's a toughie.
Man, this one I'd never thought of before. This guy just popped in my head. I've met him, I think, one time. Daddy would remember me. But I think I could learn a lot doing some sort of program with Jake the Snake. I think that would be really fun.
Cerebral, bro.
Yeah.
Cerebral game out the wazoo. What do you think? Dean Alexander versus Jake the Snake Roberts. You paying to see that, Hoss?
Oh yeah, that would be a match and a half, I think.
Now I'm baby in that situation, right?
Well, you gotta be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be. There's only one way, man. So I guess I'll jump back in here, man. And hit you with the last couple of questions because we want to let you get back to resting your Sunday. Got a lot of training coming up. I'm sure you got some tapings and stuff you want to get to. Have you been? You talked about feeling all starstruck, like, you know, you talked about talking to Taz or whatever. But what was your first one when you got down there? Like when you first were like, holy, like what was your very, very first one? Was it when you went to the seminars? Was it when you actually got to the shows? What was that very first, like, wow, I can't believe I'm here next to this guy moment?
All right. This happened during the camp.
Okay.
They actually did a internship where they selected, I think it was 7 or 8 of us, to go down to Jacksonville for a live Dynamite and intern with a wrestler, a referee. They just matched us with people. And I got matched with my GOAT, Chris Jericho.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So you got to follow Chris Jericho around?
Yeah, no, I didn't do a whole lot because it was kind of so I was nervous, obviously, and they were going to take me to him. One of the guys there, Charlie, was like, "Hey, let's go take you to the man." I said, "Any last tips?" And he's like, "No, man, he's in a great mood. You'll do fine." I met him. He asked me how long I've been working. I told him. He was like, "I'm sure we can find something for you to do." So I had just helped him with his bag, took it to his locker room for him. And then he was like, "Hey, he goes, I really don't know what I need you to do, but here's my number." Or he texted me, or he called me or something. He was like, "I'll just text you if I need you." And I was like, "Okay, I'll just hang outside I'll just be right here in the hallway." So, and by the way, we're in suits. Like that's what we were told to be, like
Right.
dressed to the nines, dressed to impress. So it was Cody, and then the 7 of us students, interns, were the only ones dressed like that. So, and I'm standing outside Jericho's.
Tired.
The door's shut. I'm standing outside his office in a suit. You know, I have my arms crossed in front of me, like just
Security.
yeah. The first time he walked out, he opened the door, looked at me, and goes, "Ha, you look like security," and then just walked away. Like it was nuts, but people were walking by me like, you guys can relax a little bit because we were wearing masks, so like it just looks like I'm staring a hole through, even though like I might be smiling and nodding, like as you walk by saying hi, but it just looks like I'm staring a hole because of the mask. But it was really cool. He did a podcast with Jake Hager. And, people were going up, knocking on the door, and I was like, hey, he's in there with Hager. And they're like, okay, hand him this when he gets done. So it's just, they're handing me whatever, just papers, hand him this when he's done. And then I got to go to the ring with him and watch him put together his little segment that night, and it was awesome. It was absolutely amazing. And when I told one of my best friends that, he texted me, and he was like, isn't it crazy? A year ago, you debuted using Hit the Code Breaker, and then now you're his intern. It was wild. It was the first time I had thought about it like that.
And no hazing took place, bro?
No.
No, washing jock straps, only green M&Ms. Because, some of these megastars, and that's what Chris Jericho is, both in music and, the world of entertainment, let's be real, they get a bad rap for not being human. You didn't experience any of that?
No, nicest could be. Nicest could be. Everyone was.
They always say, Dean, never meet your idols. So can you dispel that myth? Because I've heard that many, many times.
And oh yeah, definitely. 100%. Because that goes back to what you say. You don't know what they're going through. Even if someone does have a bad experience, they're, like you said, they're human. They have bad days too. But I haven't experienced that one bit. Everyone's been so nice. I walked by Paul White. He introduced himself to me. He just stuck his hand out and said, "Hey, I'm Paul White." I want to be like, "Yeah, you are. I'm Dean."
You are, big guy. Our buddy, the lawman. Shout out! Hey, funny state trooper or police officer in the state of Georgia, as a matter of fact. Shout out to our homie, the lawman. He just got that no BS T-shirt, nice. And he's in Georgia, so there's a little correlation there. John, I'm gonna let you jump back in here, bro. I want to try to wrap this thing up with Dean here within the next 5 or 10 minutes, just out of respect to his time. It's Sunday. Everybody wants to enjoy their time off and relax a little bit. You got anything else for a guy who is probably on cloud 9 right now, and you can just see it, dude? I'm talking to you. I see how you smile, man. You got to be feeling great, and just as you've already told us, that you definitely didn't luck into it. You got a lucky break, but you didn't luck into it because you were able to take the risk that provided the lucky break, so to speak. So, John, what else do you have for Dean here?
No, obviously, like you say, it wasn't luck. There has to be a lot of skill in there to advance as quickly as he did, and I tell you, it is very impressive to see how you've advanced and everything. But I think that's it for my questions for right now. So unless you have anything, Night Owl, the only other thing I have is our game show challenge.
No doubt about it. Okay, you know what? We'll get into game show challenge, and I'm guessing it's going to be yours truly, the Night Owl, versus Dean Alexander, right?
Well, I take it that's why I have the questions and answers and you don't.
Oh, let me guess. This is what are some of your favorite things? Let's do a quick word association with Dean, because the way that this always works, just so you know, and you'll really enjoy this. You'll get you'll be able to play into your Dean Alexander persona. They always pick shit that I know nothing about. So if you happen to be like, I wouldn't be surprised if these were all railroad questions, or if these were questions revolving about people that still have hairlines. Boom, that'd be all you. Or this question would be about black T-shirts. The series of questions would be about something that you are assuredly an expert in, and I know nothing about it. And I've been petitioning now for 4 years. Why don't we ever have a trivia about tacos? Because that's one of the few things that your boy, I got it locked like a master lock, but I'm never so lucky. I'm never so lucky. So last question before we get into the challenge here, Dean, is aside from leaving the gig, what were some of the other difficulties about making that move? And more or less kind of starting a new life. You haven't forgot about us, obviously. We're still buddies. You keep in touch with the boys. I'm sure you've got family, but besides the job thing, what was the most difficult part, or what has been so far the most difficult part about this amazing transition that you've made down to AEW?
It's those things you just mentioned, my friends and family. That's the hardest part. I used to be just an hour from my mom. Now I can't go see her. She has my dog. Oh, I miss my dog, something fierce. But also, you saw how close me and my friends were. I mean, every weekend we were doing something.
Yes,
we were hanging out, even if it wasn't, wasn't going out and just getting blasted. We were hanging out doing something. And that's what I miss the most. I have my friends here. Like I live with 3 other people that were in the camp with me. One guy moved from Pennsylvania, one from Jersey. One gal was here in Atlanta. She moved in with us. And it's my friends and family. That's the hardest part. I miss, man, Kansas City is home. I'm wearing a Kansas City shirt right now.
Let's go, baby. Yes. Eat that, Raider fan. By the way, John's a Raider fan.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
In case you were trying to decide who you like better as a host, it's definitely me because I'm a Chiefs fan.
For sure.
No doubt. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that, man. I figured those were the things that would probably affect me the most if I had to leave my family. But I'm sure they're super proud of you, man. I'm sure you hear from them all the time of how excited they are for you, right? They're definitely in your corners. I imagine all your friends are as well.
Definitely.
It's dope, man. All right. Well, you know what? We've asked you some tough questions. You've been real forthright about everything you went through, and we highly appreciate that. But it's time now to have a little fun and get a little competitive, because you would not have achieved and be on the trajectory that you are if you weren't a competitive cat. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all this chivalry and all this niceness away, and we're going to throw on our ring gear, well, really our thinking caps in this sense, and face off against each other in tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. JP, I'm ready if you are, man. Let's go ahead and freaking get into it.
These are just questions about anything?
He'll explain.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's start off with that music.
This is 70s game show music.
Yes, let's go, baby. It's actually from $100,000 Pyramid. That's what it's from.
Okay.
Wait, did I just snitch on myself for copyright? Damn it. All right.
So if we're flagging this, it's all your fault.
It's all my fault. Okay, let's go. Let's go for it.
All right. Welcome to this week's installment of the world-famous Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Tonight's contest is scheduled for the best 2 out of 3 falls. Our contestants are the Night Owl, Renee Martinez, and Dean Alexander. In a few moments, I will ask you 3 questions about a particular professional wrestling topic. Whenever you think you know the answer to the question, shout out your answer. The first person to win 2 falls will win tonight's Game Show Challenge. Tonight's Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge category is Georgia on My Mind.
Ooh.
I will give you background information about 3 professional wrestlers who hail from the state of Georgia. When you think you know who I am talking about, please shout out your answer. The first person to win 2 falls will win tonight's contest. Are you gentlemen ready?
Ready.
All right. So you give us the clues, and as soon as we know, we just shout it out, right? We don't have to raise our hand or anything like that.
Just shout it out.
Okay, let's go, baby.
All right. This professional wrestler from Warner Robins, Georgia, is 2012 WWE Hall of Famer and a member of College Football Hall of Fame. The first recognized WCW African American World Heavyweight Champion in history. Ron Simmons is correct.
Damn it.
Boom.
So Dean currently has 1 fall to none. Question number 2. This professional wrestler is a 2016 member of the WWE Hall of Fame. Billed for Atlanta, Georgia. This man is
Goldberg.
created for being leader of three-man team,
Double A.
providing the vocals for entrance music for himself and his partners, Terry Gordy and
Oh.
Buddy Roberts.
Oh, what's his name?
Greg
Michael
Valentine.
P.S.
Yes, Michael P.S.
Oh! Damn it. All right. I'm going to tell you one thing right now, though. No matter what, I'm not getting swept. Period. You hear me?
Bring it.
All right. Our third question to see if you can sweep the night owl, because you have already officially taken the win. This professional wrestler has spent the majority of his life as a resident in the state of Georgia. After spending time in TNA, this wrestler moved on to NXT and the WWE.
Bobby Roode.
No. He is an 11-time WWE Tag Team Champion and part of the New Day, and is known for his
Xavier Woods.
popular YouTube channel. Xavier Woods is correct.
Got
it.
Thank God.
Very
All right, hit the fans music.
Congratulations.
Here we go. Oh, we do. Give it up. Step up in the building. Everybody's. Damn it. All right. That's enough of that. That's enough of that mess. Dude, I enjoy celebrating and dancing way more when I win than when I lose, but I always celebrate. It doesn't matter. Because
That
that's
makes
a freaking awesome interview. So
Let's just
thank
have a good time.
hell yeah, party, baby.
No, thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
No doubt. John, any final thoughts before we say goodbye to our amigo, Dean Alexander? Apparently some sort of Georgia expert.
Just congratulations on your win against the Night Owl there. We look forward to seeing you more on AEW and seeing more of your matches and everything. It's just exciting to see how far you've already gone, and I'm sure you've got a long ways yet to go before you're done.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Before you go, how about you drop some information on our listeners as to where we can find you on social media? How can we follow you?
All right. On Instagram, it's the Dean Alexander. And on Twitter, I'm brand new to Twitter. I have like 3 tweets. By the way, no one told me the Sheik is such a good follow.
Oh, he's the best, bro. He's the only reason to be on Twitter.
It's bonkers. But on there, I'm Dean Alexander NF. And you can figure out what the NF stands for. Right. And then on, I think on Facebook, you can search Dean Alexander and you can, I'll pop up. I think it's the Dean Alexander on there too.
Boom. There it is. Well, Dean, thank you again, man, for sharing some difficult questions, some personal questions. You shared some awesome stories with us about being security for Chris Jericho. I thought that was pretty awesome. Look all uptight and shit. I would have hated to be a fart in your ass that day, but I'll tell you what, bro. Great interview, man. Your personality shines through. Obviously, your in-ring talent speaks for itself. So allow myself and Hardcore Hoss to be the first to welcome you in as the newest member of the Wrestle Talk family, bro. We love you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. I had a great time. Awesome.
No doubt.
Thank you very much.
Well, appreciate it. Well, man. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
That you will come back.
Yeah, come back. Yeah.
Definitely. 100%. Whenever.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right, man. Well, we'll go ahead and sign off, Dean. We'll catch you later, brother.
All right. We'll see y'all. Have a good one.
There we are, JP. There we are, my friend. That brings us to the end of what feels like episode 1, because we've got some new toys we're playing with, and I know you've been watching. Hopefully we get some feedback from the Wrestle Talk fam, and they tell us what they think about this new little streaming contraption we've got going here. JP, your initial thoughts, man. I'm not sure how the audio went through, but the visuals were awesome the whole time.
Yeah, on my end, everything looked to be pretty good. I do apologize for some bumps and everything that I had there, where I'd fall out the frame or whatever. But this was kind of sprung on me last minute, so
Last second, not last minute. Yeah. I try not to give my friends too much time. I try not to give my friends too much time to tell me no, because the more time you give people, the more time they have to come up with. You're not an excuses guy, but in general, the more time you give people, the more chance they have to come up with excuses. I was like, I'm gonna just tell them at the end, and we'll figure it out as we go along. And honestly, bro, I think it went great. I mean, I gotta say that. I really, really do.
Yeah, next time I promise it'll be much better. I actually am in the process of rearranging things to make my studio better. Right now, I just have a temporary setup here, but I'm going to be a little more permanently set up next time, and things will be better, I promise.
No doubt about it, man. Now we got to figure out this blog talk thing, and we'll be golden, man. Thank you guys for being here. Episode 338. We're available to you. Don't be sad because we're leaving right now. We'll be back right now. You know how? Just go over to WrestleTalkPodcast.com. We got 338 episodes in the bank, a bunch of awesome stuff on our YouTube channel. Just look up the Wrestle Talk Podcast. We're easy to find. We're the United States version of what they do over in the UK. And I think we've been around longer, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, we're the other Wrestle Talk. I'm the Night Owl. Here's Hardcore Hoss. We love you guys. Bless you. Thank you for being here. And don't forget to share this broadcast. We will catch you guys again very, very soon. Adios. Dun, dun.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody. Peace.